You can still... It's good to be back. For those of you all who are new, it's been about 2 months now since I've actually been to the group, because I'm a father of 2 now. So I've got a very interesting topic to talk about today, and it's long and short of it is it's about friends. Okay? So when I say friends, a lot of other images could be coming up to mind. One of them being social media. Yeah? Okay, so before I go there, the story is told about this very unique friendship between a monkey and a hyena. All right? You know what a hyena does? Do you know what a hyena is? Hyena? Yes. I'm pronouncing it correct. Yeah? Okay, what does a hyena do? Oh, okay, fine, good. So we all know. So there's this unique friendship between a monkey and a hyena, and they're best buddies since they were, young. And one day the hyena is pouring his heart out to his friend the monkey. He says, you know that little area in the jungle that I like to go down, by the coconut tree? The monkey said, yes. Yeah, so I like to walk down there. It's very quiet, and I just go up and down. I don't trouble anybody, nobody troubles me, except this last night. I was walking down there, minding my own business. Suddenly, out of nowhere, this lion comes out, catches me by the tail, and just kind of bangs me against all the trees around. And then leaves me half dead and goes off laughing. He thought it was funny. So the monkey says, really? That's not on, I mean, you know what? I'll come with you next time. We'll see what happens tomorrow. So the monkey and the hyena take that walk down that strip. I can't help laughing. I know what's coming next. So the hyena, it's like, okay, any time now. And suddenly out of nowhere, the lion comes out. And the first thing the monkey does is go up a tree. Okay? And he watches the entire thing. The lion, in true fashion, catches the tail and boom, boom, all over, against all the trees, throws it down, picks it up again, boom, 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 throws it down, stamps on his face, walks off laughing. And the hyena's like, completely out. The monkey waited another half an hour just to make sure. Came down, kind of stood over the hyena. The hyena looked at the monkey and said, what happened? He says, what do you mean? He says, you said you'd be there, when the lion came out. He says, I was, and I was going to help you, but you were laughing so much I thought you were winning. Great, you all got it. Wonderful. Unique friendships. That's why I said that. Okay, so I wasn't sure how to approach this session today, as I hardly have any friends. Aww. Okay. But it is a harsh reality for many, many youth out there. Okay? Loneliness is a killer disease. I mean, many, many youth who think they are in relationships, who think they have lots and lots of friends, suffer this terrible thing. Okay? It's called loneliness. So, what I'm going to talk about is friendship, and particularly friendship in Christ. Okay? It's open to discussion. If at any point you'll have questions, do stop me. Okay? We're all learning together. All right? So, if you are one of the many, many youth out there who suffers from loneliness, then by the end of the session, you will have at least something to hold on to, that you will know that there is hope. Okay? Hope for you. Yeah, and trust that Jesus will use this session to bring that hope to you. Okay? So, what is friend? What is a friend? Let's start with, I say friend, what's the first thing you think of? Someone you can be yourself with. Okay, what else? You can count on. Okay. Okay. Someone who's available, all right. How many of us on Facebook? How many friends do you all have on Facebook? Let me ask again. How many of us on Facebook? We all have friends on Facebook? Anybody that does not have friends on Facebook? You're in the wrong place. Oh, okay. Present company excluded. So yeah, how many friends do you have on Facebook? Give a number. I think mine is kind of sitting at 300 the last time I checked. I don't know how I got there, but that's precisely the point. Any numbers you want to throw at me? 50? Do I have 50? Do I have 50, 50, 50, 60, 60, 60? Anyone? 80, 80, 80, 100? Do I have 100, 100? 200? 300? Yeah, crossing the 1,000 mark? You'll all say no. All right. So, again, what is a friend? Someone you can rely on. Someone you can be yourself with. BFF. Someone who's available. Okay, ... So, let me take from Wikipedia. Okay, I love Wikipedia. Friendship is a relationship of mutual affection between two or more people. I'll say that again slowly. Friendship is a relationship of mutual affection between two or more people. All right? Is that clear enough? Okay. Do you know where friend comes from? The word friend. I love doing this because it's always good to know where English words originally come from. Do you know where it comes from? Do you know its origins? No. But you're not too far from there. It's from Old English, which is, again, of Germanic origin. Okay? It's an Indo-European root. It comes from the word Freund. Okay? It's related to Dutch and German, as I said. And the root literally means, any guesses? Any guess? The root Freund is to love. I was quite taken aback at this because I myself am guilty of just throwing the word friend around very kind of carelessly and very kind of casually. But to love implies a responsibility. Yeah? I can't just call any random person my friend because he came and he said hi to me. It starts as an acquaintance and it builds into a relationship. Then I can truly call you my friend because I've shared a part of me, you've shared a part of you. And I'm called to love. Yeah? And Freund is also shared with a similar meaning called? Similar meaning is? Any others? So I said to love. What else do you think it could relate to? No. And you're going to love this. Free. So I can be myself, yeah, can count on me, I'm available. And it's free. That's what a friend is, okay? So, during the session, I'm going to quote from one of the champions of the church currently, who's spoken to youth at length. Any guesses? Oh, say no. I'm so glad you'll give me that answer because it's Benedict XVI, Emeritus Benedict XVI. He wrote specifically about friends. Okay, this is from his message for the 43rd World Day of Communications and Friendship. All right? And he said some pretty interesting things here that in his papacy, I think the majority of us just completely, at least, most of us completely kind of overlooked. And it's exactly what's happening. He's made a couple of predictions that have come true so startlingly that I cannot but share some of these things. So, before I go there, can we all agree that all of us were born of a relationship? Yes. Good. So God Himself is eternal relationship. He's not alone. There's a constant relationship between God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. Yeah, that is the mystery of the Trinity. God Himself is eternal relationship. Therefore, by that logic, Oh, I'm sorry, I wanted to just distribute some papers. Sorry, if at any point you guys want to take our notes, or if anything strikes you, please do so, yeah? I meant to distribute papers while I was talking about the hyena and the monkey. But I kept rehearsing it again and again in my mind, so I forgot about the papers. Sorry about that. Do we all have a paper? Yeah? Okay, great. So I'll just repeat some of the things I said. So friendship is a relationship of mutual affection between two or more people. That's from Wikipedia. So you can just write the friend Wikipedia. Friendship. Okay. Its origins come from the word freond. That is Freond. And its root meaning is to love. And its root meaning is also similar to the word free. And it'll be good if you just note down Benedict XVI message for 43rd World Day of Communications. Yes, so you can read at your own leisure. So all of us were born of relationship, all right? Not one of us was miraculously conceived, okay? God Himself is relationship. Therefore, by that logic, loneliness is not of God. How can it be? How can loneliness be of God? When God Himself is all about relationship. Yeah? Now, the worst type of loneliness that one can experience, in my opinion, is when the person's already in a relationship. Can you imagine? I'm in a relationship and I'm still lonely. How terrible must that be? At least when I'm lonely, I know that there's potential for me to meet somebody, but I'm already with someone. Yeah? Especially in many relationships have broken down because of this. Many married couples have broken down because of this. Yeah, I'm lonely. I'm lonely in this. And it's also rampant on social media. There's this very it's a very what's the word? It's quite a deep video, for want of a better word, that I saw on YouTube recently when I was researching this. It's a video on how a person has compared social media addiction to actual heroin addiction. Where there's he talks and he's narrating the clip. He says, in everyday life, so social media is inhabited mostly by adults, okay? But these adults all behave like 7-year-olds. And at the same time, they show this child who's a 7-year-old, he's trying to get the attention of his mother, he's trying to get the attention of his father. And he just screams after a while, "Please acknowledge me." And ironically, the guy takes a picture of it and he shares it on Facebook, kind of thing. But that's exactly how we all behave. Please acknowledge me, So, and he goes on, he goes to the men's room, he opens a cubicle and he finds a drug addict just completely gone, completely stoned, and he still has a needle in his arm. It's very graphic. So in disgust, he just goes to the next cubicle, and while he's there, he starts typing, "I saw this drug addict in the next cubicle. What a loser," etc. Send. And he's just like, it is done in such a way that there's a bird's eye view. They show the drug addict with the thing in his arm, and they show this guy with the phone in probably the same position, just as stoned in a sense. Completely, just his life, his entire life is on Facebook. And he waits, he's just staring at it, and then there's a like. And then it's like, and suddenly his life has meaning, So that is, I'm talking about that kind of loneliness. If your entire friend circle is on Facebook, if your entire life, if your only way of interacting with each other is via a keypad and a phone, then how bad must it be for you? Yeah? So we were, each of us in this room, born to relate. We were born to love. Loving is, in fact, what we are designed for by our Creator, says Emeritus Pope Benedict. And he goes on to say, "It is in and through our friendships that we grow and develop as humans." We're all human beings, right? So our purpose is to become more fully human. So it is in and through our friendships that we grow and develop as humans. Now, in all of this that I'm sharing, okay, I don't want to keep going back to compare yourself to Facebook. It's not just Facebook. It's not just social media. It's just how you interact with people in general. Okay, there would be several levels before the actual interaction on one-on-one. There'd be the phone. Before the phone, there would be social media, things like that. So, in all that I'm sharing, look at your life. Keep looking at your life. See where you stand. The greatest thing that could happen to you today is that you've been given the grace to realize that maybe you are not quite there when it comes to friendship. So now you've been shown a light, and you just need to walk towards the light. Yeah. So I urge you to just keep reflecting as I share this with you. The second thing that Pope Benedict XVI says, "In reality, when we open ourselves to others, we are fulfilling our deepest need and becoming more fully human." I'll say it again. In reality, when we open ourselves to others, we are fulfilling our deepest need and becoming more fully human. Now, how much can you do that on Facebook? Are you really going to inbox somebody your entire life story? No. Are you really going to inbox somebody how terrible a time you had with your boss this morning? No. You're not going to be able to convey the frustration. Emoticons can only go so far. Okay? I mean, just recently now you get these stickers that you can, now I'm introduced to the world of stickers, and these things are animated. I'm saying, oh great, 0.5% more of what I really wanted to convey. So, and it's all funny, but even then you can't You can't really, even over the phone, you can't really convey what's really happening. You need to be able to meet with a friend that you'd really trust and say, I need to talk to you. I need to tell you, this is what's been happening. Yeah? Okay. So how many lives do you have? Completely off tangent. How many lives do you have? Okay. Yes, one, if you look at it as it's a continuous life. But let's say two, to make it easier. It's our earthly life and then our eternal home. Okay? Two. So far. All right. So, is there any... how many relationships outside Christ then, ultimately, can we have? Okay, let's say all of us don't make it out of here, okay? And we are in front of the Lord. How many relationships outside the Lord do you think we're going to have? Everybody on this planet is going to die, by the way. In case you are not aware. Media will have you think otherwise. No. They'll be dead before we are. Okay? So, when you're standing before the Lord, I think the biggest thing that will hit you in the face is that, oh no, what have I done? It's because you will be my entire life henceforth, with no end. And I've been looking elsewhere. It's for all of us, yeah? All of us to some various degrees. When we do not acknowledge God as He is, as creator of everything, yeah, just because we do not see Him doesn't mean He doesn't exist. And then when we do see Him, it'll be too late for us to go, okay. Yeah? So there will be no relationships outside Christ, okay? There'll be none. What are we doing now? Look at your own relationships. Are they rooted in Christ? Are they rooted in God, at least? Because it's only going to be about God, by the way. And you will want it to be about God, just in case you're thinking boredom is going to be a factor. No. Yeah? Because, as St. Augustine says, our hearts were made for you, O Lord, and it is restless until it rests in you. Okay? Our hearts were made for you, and they are restless until they rest in you. This is St. Augustine. And St. Augustine, for those of you who do not know, was a womanizer. He had many lovers. He fathered a child. And he was anti-Catholic to the core. He followed a Manichaean cult, which sought to free people from rules and regulations. It was very similar to what's happening today, relativism. No rules. Take Christ out of Christmas. No God. Separate church from state. All that. Yeah? So he was a champion of the Manichaean cult, and God just caught him and brought him back. And he confessed in his confession of St. Augustine, our hearts were made for you, O Lord, and they are restless until they rest in you. Okay? So, isn't it about time we detached ourselves from superficial relationships and formed lasting ones? I'll give you an example from my life, okay? Now, school in Pune, in Bishops. I went to Bishop's School in Pune. And most of my life there was pretty lonesome because, one, I was a Gulf kid because I was born in Muscat and went down to India. So I was the non-Hindi speaking, etc., non-Marathi speaking person, ostracized. Until my dad came back to the Gulf, and we were in India. And every now and again he'd come back and he'd bring, the treasures of the Middle East to India that time. And so you had the Kit Kats and the Twix and everything. And of course we had the 5 stars and can't even remember what. And So as soon as I brought these goodies to school, guess who's the most popular person in the class? So, and for me, I didn't even, I kind of probably knew, but I just didn't care because I was reveling. I was like, oh, they love me. They really love me. Of course, you can have another Kit Kat. Anyway, so, and yet today, and I went, the last time I went to Pune was in 2010. Yeah, 2010. I went down to Pune, and there's just this one person who actually kept in touch with me. Yeah, and he came to my house to meet me and everything. And guess what? I never knew him in school. Hardly knew him. He was in another division altogether. And we knew each other like, okay, whatever. I knew that he was the fastest guy in school. He was amazing. And in fact, he was from another color. And I used to cheer him, when he would beat everybody. Because I used to admire how well he would run. So, and here he is. And he was so happy to see me. He remembered me from school. And then he filled me in on all these other guys. And these guys have all gone. They've moved on with their lives and everything. They don't keep in touch with each other. But he was so happy that I came down. And how did we connect? And one key thing about this meeting was the fact that he was so open to me talking about God, because I naturally wanted to talk about God. I was talking about, this is how Jesus, what you see now, Caroline, my daughter, it's all Jesus. This is what Jesus did for me. And I didn't feel any awkwardness at all. No awkwardness at all. I didn't even think about sharing. That's what. I only thought about it. I said, oh, shoot, wait. Would I have been boring this guy? But this fellow, he was taking it in. He was taking it in. He says, wow, that's really cool. That's really, really cool. I mean, he's not saying it to be nice. And how would I know? Because he wanted to stay on. He stayed on for dinner. He picked up dinner, all that stuff. He really wanted to connect. So that's an example. Another example is there's a Canadian guy by the name of Paul who just visited me a couple of days ago. Now, he was here last in 2007, about 6 years or so ago. And I remember our meeting then with him was very fruitful because I would drop him up, we would drop him home and everything, and we would share on a very deep level. He would share about his father, and I would share about my life, where it was. I was dating Caroline at the time, and things were not great. So I was able to relate, 6 years hence, he sends me a message saying, I'm coming down for like a couple of days to meet somebody. I said, okay. So it will be great to meet you. I said, yeah, great. So he came down and he gave me a call, and we said, okay, let's meet on Sunday. Let's have dinner. I went and picked him up from the hotel, and I promise you, it was like as if he never left. I promise you this. I was busy wondering, is this going to be awkward? Is this going to be, no. There was not a moment of silence. Yeah, there's not a moment where we had to, kind of be politically correct or, diplomatic or whatever. He was just so free. I was so free. Brought him over. He was so enthralled with the kids. Caroline was happy to see him as well because Caroline and I knew him. And we were talking till 1 a.m, and it was it's a work day, right? And he says, you guys need to go, and probably won't see you again. I said, yeah, but we can just pick up from where we left off as we did today. And he was evangelized. I was evangelized. The fact that this is how God works. Yeah, this is how God works, and this for me is a glimpse of what heaven probably is. We just know because God is at the helm, and this is where this quote comes to mind. And if you can write this down, just keep it in mind every time you look at your relationships. Friends are friends forever. If the Lord's the Lord of them. If the Lord's the Lord of them. If the Lord, Lord apostrophe S, the Lord of them. If the Lord is the Lord of them. If it's easier for you. It's taken from a Michael W. Smith song, a gospel song. The theme of it is, even if you go away, even if you're across continents, we'll always be connected, because Jesus is our common factor. Yeah, we pray to the same God, and it really opened my eyes when I saw this. Another example is another friend of mine who I've grown up with here, Brandon. He was a Hindu convert, and brilliant mind, and he left for Canada those many years ago. But he's kept in touch, and every time he comes down, it's like he never left. We just pick up from where we left off. We discuss. We're able to talk so freely about God. It's not like a battle of intellects. It's just life in the Spirit. This is what God did for me today. This is the relationship God gave me today. Yeah, and it's so much more fulfilling than kind of discussing. Oh, did you see Megan Fox in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I mean, come on, so far apart, and yet it's so fulfilling and so fruitful. Never a dull moment, yeah? So friends are friends forever if the Lord is Lord of them. Now go back to social media. Look at your friends, okay? And this is what Pope Benedict XVI says about them. The concept of friendship has enjoyed a renewed prominence in the vocabulary of the new digital social networks that have emerged in the last few years, okay? We should be careful, therefore, never to trivialize the concept or the experience of friendship. And we've just discussed what friendship is all about, yeah? It's about interaction. It's about sharing a deep part of yourself. So, and on social media, there's a danger that you'll trivialize it. Look at your numbers. Look at the friends list. Look at your friends list. If I'm at 300, I'm thinking, how did I get to 300? What? It's like if someone sends you, okay, interesting person, confirm. And guilty. That's me. And I've slowly, over the years, I've been trying to just kind of, okay, unfriend, whatever. Yeah, because hardly keep in touch. You don't keep in touch. Probably the only reason you said confirm is to kind of look into his life and see if it's more interesting than yours. And it was. So, yeah. Now, he proposes this as the reason for social media, okay? The desire for connectedness think now social media, how social media evolved over the years. The desire for connectedness and the instinct for communication that are so obvious in contemporary culture are best understood as modern manifestations of the basic and enduring propensity of humans to reach beyond themselves and to seek communion with others. In other words, there's no wonder that social media exists. If there were no friends, there would be no social media. Who are you going to lament to? Or who are you going to forward something to? You're forwarding it to a group of people. You are craving relationship. And subconsciously, perhaps, it's like you throw something in a crowd of people, maybe one guy will throw the stone back. Yeah? That's probably what we're thinking. But see, this instinct for communication, it's a basic human need. I have to connect. I cannot be alone. I have to connect. Okay? And you've seen those various videos on Facebook wherein you see a group of people at a restaurant and they're all on their phones. Something is really wrong there. And okay, fine, you'll come up with amazing ideas like, okay, stack your phones up and the first person to touch the phone foots the bill. Somebody's going to cave. But that's where we are today. We're so kind of dependent on our electronic gadgets as our only way of interacting with the world. And look, Another acid test is look amongst yourselves. Look at least amongst the three of y'all. Y'all would know your daily mannerisms. And then now look at your friends or look at your own mannerisms online. Is it the same? In person, I can hardly look you in the eye, but online, dude. Yeah? Something very wrong then. That's a form of schizophrenia, by the way. Yeah? Be careful. All right. So, now, I won't spend too much on social media, but the topic is about friendship in Christ. Now, this is our mission statement. We exist to know God, ourselves, and to reach out to others. That's our mission. Yeah? What is mission? It's pretty much the same as your job in a sense. You work as an accountant. As an accountant, I have to make sure that all the books are balanced. That's my mission, per se. That's my job. Yeah? If I decide as an accountant to go and, manage a group of people, or if I suddenly decide to handle HR, am I doing my mission? Am I doing my job? No. My mission, as a Christian, not just as being part of Come Alive, but as a Christian, my mission is to go out. God said at the end, go out to all the nations, baptizing everyone you meet in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. He didn't say, if you feel like you're up to it, you can, just go, and only if you're up to it. I don't want to pressure you. No, he didn't say that. He just said, go out to all the nations. He didn't even mean your surrounding locality. He's saying, go. Wherever you go, baptize. Wherever you go, evangelize. Yeah? So this is our mission statement. We reach out to others, especially youth, to build us into a quality fellowship. Now, Dubai is hardly a place for interacting. Weather, work timings, work pressure, work timings, money. Okay? So, how can we, and our version of entertainment is, or interacting is, this so-and-so movie is out. Let's all go. Watch, and then we upload, watch this, it was so cool. And then we tag all the people we went with. So you really had a good time watching a movie. So it's either that or, hey, there's so-and-so happening at Festival City. Let's go to Festival City. Or let's go to Dubai Mall. Let's go. This is our way of kind of interacting with each other. This is our entertainment here. That's very real. There's nothing wrong with that. But if we are to build healthy relationships, maybe these are a few things that we can do. First, be open to Christ in the relationship, especially if the person's not coming to church. Be open to Christ in the relationship. I'm not saying talk about God all the time, and I'm also not saying leave him out of it completely. Be open to Christ in the relationship and work towards it. Like, give examples from your life, like, oh, thank God this happened. I said a prayer and this is what happened. And then leave it at that. Let him come back to you. Let him or her come back to you about this. Try and reduce media from your lives. I think all of us are guilty of that in some form or fashion. In that we watch, for example, season 35 of something that started in the 80s. I don't know. We're constantly watching, and it's like, for me, I always talk about Naruto, and I'm so happy that it's coming to an end. The series started in 2000. I've been following, me and my two sisters, click next. I gotta know what happens. Next, gotta know what happens. So anyway, we're all guilty of that, yeah? So reduce media. That time, those 5 hours into the morning that you were watching all your series, that could have been used in something more effective. Prayer. Maybe somebody needed to talk to you over the phone even. Somebody had a problem and wanted to talk to you. You could have been speaking to them at 4 in the morning. Yeah? As an example. Bring back a culture of games. Board games, not video games, not that variety of games. Something that you can hold, not joystick hold, but dice hold. Snakes and ladders, Ludo, Carom. You've heard of Carom, haven't you? Okay. So, those kind of games, right? Bring it back. Why? Because it is in these games, it is in interacting with each other. That's how you form memories. Can you form a memory by saying, back in 1999, I went and watched Matrix with you? Okay, that's it. That's all there is. Yeah, you can't do that with movies. You can't. Oh, you remember when City Center first opened? What a time, huh? Good times. So, but when you play games, when you can remember how somebody tends to be a little, quick with his hand when it comes to certain card games, etc., etc. So you get into it. You get into fostering friendships, like deep friendships. You remember with fondness the person. You create memories. It doesn't even have to be board games. It can be simple dumb charades or whatever. You play it. It doesn't have to be restricted to parties. You guys can just meet up in places. You can, and encourage, another way is encourage a culture of visiting each other. I'm not, back in those days, this is what we used to do. Yeah, I'm a lot older than I look, 26 or whatever. So, I'm thinking, it sounded a lot funnier when I thought of it. But anyway, back in those days, we didn't have, forget video games. I didn't have a telephone, in India. Because, not because of anything else, it's just because things took that long. So my only way of entertainment for myself, when my mom forbid me from watching Star TV, was to go down and play. And we would find just about anything to get our hands on to play, So it doesn't have to be board games. It can be just normal games that you can play at home. Visit each other. That's what we used to do. Yeah, what happened? We can't blame the weather all the time. We can't blame work timings all the time. If you make the time, if you really want to, you can. Yeah? So visit each other at home. Okay? Nothing wrong with Phillies. Okay? But it's very difficult for one to interact on a deeper level in Phillies. Try. You wouldn't want to, because if it's something personal about your life, the last thing you want to do is shout it out in a crowded tea house. Right? Okay, at least someone got that. So, try and meet at home. Invite somebody over for a meal. If for those of you all who are married or whatever, suggestions, yeah? Invite someone, maybe someone is alone for Christmas or something along the lines. Invite them over, share a meal. Doesn't even have to be about Christmas. Just invite them over the weekend. What are you doing on the weekend? Nothing. Come. And don't invite them over to watch a movie. It defeats the purpose. Okay? Invite them over to interact. Pray for each other. That's key. Now, if your mission is to love, if your mission is to reach out, yeah? Therefore, you need to pray, right? So you've got a friends list of 300. You can start there. Tonight, all the friends lists are going to be halved. Anyway, so pray for each other. If you love your neighbor as you love yourself, you will remember them in prayer. Yeah, because you pray to God and you say, Jesus, I need this. Jesus, I need Caroline to get a job. But I also know that somebody else is looking for a job. I pray for all those like me, like in our friend circle, that they may have an opportunity. Something as simple as that. It doesn't have to be long-winded. Okay? Transparency in friendship is another key thing. And this is a quote by Saint Jerome. I'm going to wind up now. It's a quote by Saint Jerome. He says, "True friendship ought never to conceal what it thinks." True friendship ought never to conceal what it thinks. Think about your friendship, your close friends. Are you able to share? Are you able to call a spade a spade? If something is wrong, are you able to call it? Knowing that it might sour the relationship a bit, but you're being honest. You're not just letting it slide. Yeah? So, two people, no two friends should be too close that they cannot share the truth, that the truth cannot be spoken. Two friends should not be too close that the truth cannot be spoken. A caveat there, or a bit of a warning there, when it comes to transparency, don't go and call out, no, what you're doing is wrong, what you're doing is wrong. Pray first. If you feel that there's something that is not transparent with the person you're interacting with, pray for the person first. Maybe the Lord will bring some light to you to know that perhaps this is the background, so that you can approach it with sensitivity. But then that is what becoming a true friend is all about. You are sensitive to the needs of the other person. You are not remembering yourself, you're remembering the needs of the other. Okay? Love your neighbor as you love yourself. All right? So these are some of the things that we've touched on the topic of being rooted in Christ. These are some of the ways that we can possibly foster healthy relationships here in Dubai. So I would urge you to look through it. We don't have time. Otherwise, I would have given you a group sharing question, but maybe I can give you a question for you to take home. So, two questions maybe I can give you. Can you identify one friend with whom you have a fruitful relationship? And share 3 key points of that relationship that indicates it is healthy. It's for you to mull over from all the points and notes you've taken down, and you decide for yourself. The other question is, so can you identify one friend with whom you have a fruitful relationship? And identify 3 key points of your relationship that indicates it is healthy. And the other question is, can you think of other ways to foster healthy relationships in the UAE? We've touched on a few. Visiting each other, transparency, praying for each other. Can you think of any other ways? Okay, it's for you to think about. And hopefully as the weeks go by, we'll be having more and more sessions on friendship and the like. All right? Thank you.